Hello students, welcome to the second lecture in the course of operating system. Myself, Rafiqul Islam, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Guru Nanak Institute of Technology under GIS Group. In video lecture 1, we have completed up to the goals of operating system. There are primary goal and as well as secondary goal. So now in this lecture, the very first topic which we have to study, this is operating system services. So the first topic in this lecture, operating system services. OS services. Actually, all you know that operating system actually resource manager, and it is a basic platform between user and computer hardware. So there are many services performed by operating system. Some services for users and users of program, and some are services for efficient system operation. So these are the services for users. Services for users. So here basically program execution, number 2 IO operation, number 3 file system manipulation, number 4 communication, and number 5 error detection and handling. So these are the services for users and users of programs. And now some services are performed for efficient system operation. So these are the services for efficient system operation. Here number 1 resource management, that is CPU management, process management, main memory management, etc. Number two, accounting information. Actually, number of file opens, number of process creation, etc. These are called accounting information. And the next one is protection. So basically in next section, we have to study about protection. Here we have IO protection, memory protection, CPU protection, etc. So these are the functions performed by operating system. Okay. Now, our next very important topic, this is types of operating system. Types of operating system. Types of operating system. So in this part, we have to study number one, batch operating system. Batch OS. Number two, multi-programming OS. Multi-programming OS. Number three, multitasking OS. Multitasking OS, or sometimes called time sharing OS. Number four, multi-processing OS. Multi-processing OS. And number five, real-time OS. So these are the different types which we have to study. And we have another types of OS like network operating system, distributed operating system. But in this section, we are going to study about these five types: batch operating system, multi-programming operating system, multitasking operating system, multi-processing operating system, and real-time operating system. So now, batch operating system, batch OS. So in this batch operating system, jobs with similar needs are batched together and executed through the processor as a group. So jobs with similar needs are batched together and executed through the processor as a group. Actually, here similar kind of jobs are bundled in one batch. Similar kind of jobs are bundled in one batch. Now, what is job in this case? Actually job is program plus input data and control instruction. This is actually called job. So job actually not program, actually program plus input data and control instruction, actually job. And in this batch operating system, this is actually non-interactive. So this is non-interactive. That means user cannot interact with this operating system. In the middle of the execution, user can't interact with the operating system. And here we have a operator sort jobs and formed batches using punch card. So here we have operator who formed batches. Operator formed batches using punch card. So here we have to give input using punch card, and again output is also in the form of punch card. So basically loading of punch card and unloading of punch card used to take time, and during that time CPU remains idle. We can't load any other job or batch in this time. So here CPU utilization is very low. And now if we see a diagram in case of batch operating system, then it will be understandable to you. So here we have a operator. This is nothing but operator. Operator, suppose it is a person. And here we have user 1. Suppose user 1, job 1, user 2, job 2, and we have n number of user n and job n. So operator just formed batches. Suppose this is batch 2, this is job 1, this is job suppose 5, this is job 10, this is job suppose 15. So this is one batch, and we have another batch. Suppose this is batch 1, here suppose job 2, and this is job 7, and here we have CPU and operating system. This is input and this is output. So this is the overall diagram of a batch operating system. So in this case, the memory size is limited, and here the CPU utilization is very low. Now go to the next type. This is multi-programming operating system. So in case of multi-programming, so this is the second type, multi-programming OS. So in case of multi-programming OS, multi-programming means more than one process in main memory which are ready to execute. So here more than one process in main memory for execution. So suppose this is CPU, and here we have main memory. This is OS, and suppose this is process 1, process 2, process 3. So this is called multi-programming OS. More than one process can load into main memory at a time and which are ready to execute. Now suppose in a multi-programming OS, suppose we have 3 processes. Suppose we have 3 processes in main memory. This is our main memory, and here we have 3 processes, P1, P2, P3, and obviously we have one CPU. Mind it, in case of multi-programming, we have to have only one CPU, but multiple process can loaded into main memory at a time. So suppose in one particular time, the CPU has been allocated the process P1. Suppose CPU has been allocated the process P1. So P1 executing in CPU. Now After some time, P1 requires some IO operation. So P1 just go to some IO operation. So at that moment, CPU is free because the P1 now doing its IO operation. Now CPU would be allocated next process, that is P2. So now CPU would be allocated P2. And again, if P2 is going to do some IO operation, then again CPU would be allocated the next process, that is P3. So in this case, CPU utilization increased. And it is very important point that in case of multi-programming, only one process can execute CPU at a time. We can't execute more than one process at a time in CPU, but we can load multiple processes into main memory at a time. Okay. So here CPU utilization increased. And here a very important point, we can't forcefully remove any process from CPU. We cannot forcefully remove any process from CPU, but any process can leave the CPU itself for some IO operation. Any process can leave the CPU itself for some IO operation. I think it is clear to you. And here a problem exists, and this problem which we can call starvation. So suppose the burst time for P1, suppose P1 is loaded into CPU and its burst time 1 hour, and the burst time for P2 suppose 10 seconds. So we cannot forcefully remove P1 from CPU and allocate P2. So P2 has to wait for 1 hour and will be starved. So this problem is called starvation. So in case of multi-programming, starvation problem exists. Okay. So this is all about multi-programming. Now, the next type, this is multitasking. Multitasking. Actually, it is the extension of multi-programming. It is the extension of multi-programming. So here also we have multiple processes in main memory, multiple processes in main memory, and obviously here also we have one CPU. So please remember these 2 points. Here we have one CPU. So suppose this is one CPU, and in main memory, suppose we have P1, P2, P3. There are 3 processes in main memory at any moment. Now, here we can forcefully remove any process from CPU and allocate CPU to other process. And here some time quantum is allocated for each process, and processes are executing round robin manner. So suppose P1 is loaded into CPU for 2 milliseconds, after P2 and then P3. Again P1, then P2, then P3. So this is called round robin. So that's why it is also called time sharing system or multi-programming with round robin. So here no starvation problem exists. So here CPU utilization increased and also no starvation problem. So in these 2 particular cases, that is multi-programming and multitasking, actually there are many processes in main memory at a time, but we have one CPU. In case of multi-programming, we cannot remove any process forcefully, but in case of multitasking, according to the time quantum, we can switch one process to another, and this switching is called context switching. Okay. Now, next type, this is multi-processing. Multi-processing OS. So in case of multiprocessing, here multiple CPUs would be there. Here, this is very important point. Multiple CPUs would be there. And at the same time, multiple processes can exist in main memory at a time. So suppose we have main memory P1, P2, P3, and we have suppose 3 CPUs, CPU1, CPU2, CPU3. So CPU1 could be allocated to P1, CPU1 could be allocated to P1, CPU2 could be allocated to P2, and CPU3 could be allocated to P3, and so on. So here at the same time, multiple processes are running parallelly. So this is very important. If in your system there are 3 processors, then at the same time we can execute 3 processes. So, but that was not the case of multitasking. And obviously you had the term dual core processor. So in case of dual core processor, we have 2 CPU. In case of octa core processor, we have 8 CPU. So this is very important, how we can differentiate between multi-programming, multitasking, and multi-processing operating system. Now, the next type, this is real-time OS. Real-time OS. So in case of real-time OS, a system that must produce output for a given input within a well-defined time period. So here we have a deadline period. We have a time bound, and the output must generate within this deadline, else the output is useless. And obviously, real-time operating system is a multi-user, multi-process, and interactive system. So user can interact to this system. And here, obviously, the online file system must be available for users to access data and code. Online file system must be available. And the examples, that is missile launching, nuclear power plant, etc. These are real-time operating system. So in this real-time operating system, one word that is very important, this is called time period, deadline period. Deadline period. And actually, real-time operating system may be either soft real-time, or hard real-time. So in case of soft real-time, the processes should be completed within the time bound. Here should be completed within the time bound. But in case of hard real time, the processes should be completed at exact time. Should be completed at exact time. So this is real-time operating system. Here the output for a given input within a well-defined time period, multi-user, multitasking, interactive, online file system must be available. And there are two types of real-time operating system, soft real-time and hard real-time. So these are 5 types of operating system. So we have also another types of operating system, that is network operating system and distributed operating system. So I hope this part is clear to you. Okay. Now we have next part, next topic. This is very simple topic. This is interrupts, trap, and signal. So the first one, interrupts. And second one, trap. And third one, signal. So basically, what is interrupt? An event generated externally by a device. So this is generated externally by a device. In a computer to get attention of the CPU. So an event generated externally by a device in a computer to get attention of the CPU. And what is trap? So it is an event generated by the CPU itself. Generated by the CPU itself. It's called trap. And in case of signal, an event generated by a user and sent to running program generated by user. So this is interrupts, trap, and signal. And in case of an interrupt or trap, the CPU invokes a piece of code in the OS to service it. And this is known as interrupt service routine. Interrupt service routine or trap service routine. So in case of an interrupt or trap, the CPU invokes a piece of code in the OS to service it, which is known as interrupt service routine or trap service routine. So this is all about interrupt, trap, and signal. So I hope this lecture is very much clear to you. Next lecture, we have to study about hardware protection in OS. So now, thank you for watching and see you in the next one. Thank you once again.